Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to all of you. I am Vishali, welcoming you all on behalf of SolarQuarter and First View Group for today's webinar on Solar Assets, Southeast Asia 2022. Thank you, all the attendees, for joining us today. I hope all the attendees had a great time networking with your peers in our exhibition table. Sir, can you please mute? Thank you. We will have that networking session again after the panel discussion as well. Now I take the pleasure to thank our sponsors, Webdin and Goodwe, for extending their immense support to organize this event. So now we will be playing our sponsor videos.
Energy efficiency management is a financial necessity today. When you think about the fact that dust on solar panels or bad parametering of a cooling or heating system in a building can waste thousands of euros per year, per month, or even per day, you might agree with me. We have two types of clients to optimize their approach in energy efficiency management. The first type of clients are big companies. These companies manage multi-site installations and buildings in their own information systems. The second type of companies are monitoring companies. They develop specific portals to propose their monitoring expertise to their final clients. In both cases, Webdin can help to solve the same issues. Webdin provides its ranges of data concentrators to collect heterogeneous data and deliver them to the information system and specific analysis applications. Our experience with our customers is that to perform a good monitoring analysis, you need to collect three levels of data. The first level, and if you can collect only one, you should collect this one, is the meters. The meters are the judge of your installations. They will provide you an explicit information, which is the exact status of your production or consumption, but they will also provide you an implicit information, which is it working or not? Of course, if it's not working, you won't know why. And if it's working, you might not be able to detect it's not working perfectly. This is why you need to access to a second level of data, which is parameters and alarms coming from the central device of your installations, like inverters in solar plants, or cooling or heating solutions in buildings. Of course, with this data you will have a much better view of your situation, but still, you will not exactly know if your performance is good on these sites. This is why you need to access to a third level of information. This level is constituted of all the environmental sensors of the field. For instance, depending on your applications, hygrometry, sunshine, temperatures. Performing the collection of these three levels of very different informations in a single device is no longer a dream. Webdin built it. And we built it for the right price. So please now I would like to invite you to do a couple of things. First, please share your specifications with us, and we'll go for a pilot together. Secondly, explore our ranges of data concentrators on our website. And finally, it will be a pleasure to start a collaboration with you.
What should you do when you receive error codes or system malfunction? Goodwe has a set of completed and methodical after-sales service procedure. You can create a ticket through Goodwe official website, describe the status via email, or just call Goodwe helpline services directly. Firstly, Goodwe technical support will provide online remote service through SEM's portal. If the problem persists, Goodwe will provide the site service inspection and troubleshooting. The ticket will be uploaded and closed once the problem has been solved. If the problem still can't be figured out after firmware upgrading or spare parts replacing, Goodwe local services will submit RMA report to headquarter immediately. Then a replacement inverter will be delivered from the nearest after-service warehouses. As you can see, Goodwe attaches great importance to after-sales services and cares about customer experiences. Goodwe's service principles are customer-centric, effective, and professional. Continued improvement. Goodwe cares about you. You can always trust Goodwe.
let me quickly take your through the agenda for today. We will be having two sessions today. Our first session will be on the best practices of solar O&M for managing a diverse and remote portfolio. And after that, in the second session, you will hear our expert panelists discuss the digitalization, advanced data analytics, and aerial inspections for portfolio asset optimization. And now, without any delay, let's begin our first session. And this session will be starting with the sponsor presentation by Mr. Gurdeep Singh Juneja, Managing Director, Wipdin India. Sir, can you come on the screen, please?
Thank you, Vaishali, and good morning and good afternoon to all the attendees in this wonderful session on solar assets. I am Gurdeep Singh Juneja, the Managing Director for Webdin India. Webdin is, as you might have seen and got an idea just from this corporate video, that Webdin is basically the OEM with our headquarters in France and the European offices based in Spain and different countries and all across the globe. I'll not take up much of the time and will just straight away start with my presentation, where I'll be then continuing with the what we do and how our solutions can support you monitoring your assets and solar plants for better performance and outcome. Hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Great. So, Webden is basically a monitoring and power control manufacturers company into the IIoT sector. So what we do, we actually masters into the development and design of the IIoT hardwares, be it gateways, data loggers, concentrators, routers, modems, wired or wireless devices based on two different protocols based on to internet or radios. So in detail, we cover the vast portfolio, which includes energy, which includes transportations, which includes renewables as a subset of energy, and more specifically solar, and the other IoT applications, which helps you in collecting your data accurately from most of the field devices and allows you to make better decisions based on to the data that you are collecting in regular periodic intervals, which helps in further O&M cost reductions and improve plant efficiency. The company was founded in the year 2000, so it's over 21 years now since Webden is in operation globally with our headquarters in France. And Webden is an OEM to many renowned global manufacturers as well, metering companies, inverter companies across the globe. As I just mentioned, we are the global leaders in designing and development of most reliable machine-to-machine communications and data logging solutions. For over 21 years, we are catering to the global markets, IIoT, remote monitoring, weather monitoring requirements, SCADA requirements for the big utility and ground mount projects, SCADA come remote monitoring requirements, because when you are sitting kilometers and miles away from your plants, you still would like to be connected with your plants, at least to know its performance at management level, or to know if any real-time events or alerts are running in your plant, which is affecting the performance. And you can always trace it in real time, irrespective of if you have installed a local SCADA, which is just at the plant level. So Webdin India Private Limited is a subsidiary of Webdin France and has proudly catered to over 4.2 gigawatt of solar portfolio within just 6 years. And overall global portfolio worldwide, we already have covered to the range of 25 gigawatt plus, specific to the solar assets that are being monitored till date. And this shows the trust and the confidence that our customers have shown onto Webdin worldwide. Webden is a member of G3 PLC Alliance, which is a bigger global alliance for power line communications on Generation 3 devices, and also a member of LoRa Alliance for wide range radio frequency based LoRa applications. So what are the application areas of Webden specifically? As I've just mentioned in the previous slide, that we cover most of the IoT related application areas, be it in renewable energy, smart metering, industrial management systems, building management system, machine management system, or Industry 4.0 related smart manufacturing facilities and smart cities, etc. We are the actual OEMs for the major metering companies as well, the background. So what we do, our solutions helps in the management of the industries, buildings, and energy efficiencies, remote reading of electricity, gas, and water meters, remote metering and control of energy producing or consuming facilities so that you can have better insight onto your consumption patterns or the generation patterns from the plants to improve its efficacy and efficiency. Remote monitoring of solar and wind plants, remote management of automotive fleets, and waste management and other IoT applications like heating or cooling system management in the countries where the buildings needs to be having a specific heating system throughout, and the billing allocations to each individual flat, and so like that. There are several IoT applications where Webden's hardware can really be helpful. Then why Webden? So if I'll just try to complete it with this circle, it's the expertise that we carry for over 21 years. So we are one of the oldest organization with the deep expertise into this segment. Coming on to specifically to the solar segment with over 400 satisfied customers from Webden India only in the Middle East and ASEAN region. With over 8,000 solar PV and CRI rooftops and ground mount projects being executed till date since the year 2016. And I've already covered a portfolio of over 4.2 gigawatt from Webden India and overall by Webden as 25 gigawatt worldwide. Our solutions are most flexible in terms of connectivity, user friendly, and in terms of quality, as we follow most of the vigorous global standards, which are CE, UL, ROHS, and several specific quality standards. Webden offers a perfect price to quality balance, because when we talk about quality, at the same time, we have to be very well balanced in terms of pricing, considering the solar segment overall in the region that we are catering to, which is again price specific, but at the same time, quality plays a major role, as we always target or eye upon the solar as a long-term objective, which is for 25 up to 25 years minimum. So we really need to have the devices on our installations which can play and work for the longer period, irrespective of its designed or given standard warranty periods. So this is where there has to be a perfect balance which Webden offers in terms of quality and price. Onto a range of data concentrators, loggers, controllers, and weather sensors. So this doesn't mean that you have to have a big range of the models available from Webden. We have a very limited range, which is quite compatible and flexible to cover entire range, ranging from few kilowatts of the rooftop installations to the megawatt levels of the rooftop installations. And irrespective of what inverters, meters, sensors, or any other field device that you have on the installation, be it your string combiner boxes, be it your numerical relay, be it your annunciators, be it your PLC that you want to monitor, and to have the information available remotely for your remote management and monitoring, or even DGPV controlling, or zero power export to the grid controlling, where you don't want to export the generation being happening from your solar to the grid due to net metering non-availability, depending from region to region. And similarly, you don't want to export the excess power back to the DG, but you want to safeguard or save some of the fuel and the running of the DG when your on-grid solar inverters has to run, taking the reference of the DG voltage. So this is where WebBin's data concentrators comes in handy for all the kind of applications in solar management, and are very well suitable for heterogeneous applications and independent of the site capacities, as I've mentioned, ranging from, let's say, 5 kilowatt of the smallest rooftop installation to the 50 megawatt or even more, the ground mount or the utility level applications. This is where WebDen, when you think about monitoring or controlling, WebDen comes up by default. What we have as a global IoT products available from WebDen India for the Southeast Asian and Middle East market. WebDen Modbus, which is a very economical and yet very powerful gateway to collect the information from all the Modbus kind of devices, be it Sunspec Modbus compatible, be it Open Modbus, or be it onto the Modbus RS485 or TCP/IP physical layers. The next evaluation is WebDin Sun with the 4G connectivity and the inbuilt modems, which, in addition to WebDin Modbus, carries some more interfaces to collect in the information from your analog sensors, to collect the information from your dry contacts, to check the status of your breakers, and also provides you the relay outputs to control your plants through SMS commands as a kill switch functionality. If you want to cut down the solar sitting at your office, or if you want to buzzer up a particular alarm or a hooter, or want to alert someone on site just by the help of an SMS, if you are utilizing SIM card for the internet connectivity in the Webinson 4G. Then comes the third generation device, which is Webinson PM 4G. So it's just the further advancement of Webinson, which, apart from being a data concentrator or a data logger and carrying the advanced functionalities of a data logger, has much more possibilities to act as a controller, in addition to manage your DGs, number of DGs with a solar power plant, or to manage the zero export functionalities, or even to connect your utility plants, field devices to your existing local SCADA, or to send the information on one side to your building management system, and on the other side to push the information to your servers. Then comes the range of weather sensors, radiation sensors, temperature sensors, wind speed sensors, and other sensors that usually we utilize to check the overall performance and the KPIs of our power plants. Wi-Fi modules for some specific sites where you have scattered rooftops and you want to monitor all the rooftops, but you have the challenge that you cannot lay down the communication cables from rooftop to rooftop. Then these modules comes up very handy for such applications. And the web portals and platforms, again, we are agnostic onto this platform level, where WebBin offer under exclusive partnership the services of platforms with our specific selective European and Indian partners, which makes a combined tailor-made offerings of the entire complete monitoring solution to our valued customers. Coming on to the product level one by one, WebDin Modbus 4G. If you remember, if you can see in this slide, the first device which I mentioned, which is quite economical and very readily usable. Here you can see the interfaces available where there are SIM slot. In this, you can see the SIM slot available at the top. You can put up the standard 2G, 3G, 4G SIM. You have the possibility to connect it to the internet via LAN or the Ethernet connectivity as well, or to provide, this is a multifunctional Ethernet port where you can even utilize the Modbus TCP connectivity If you have the field devices like inverters connecting over Modbus, or you have the RS485 to Modbus gateways, first card applications, then also you can connect it over LAN. The RS485 connectivity, which is readily available for full duplex or half duplex connectivities to manage the chains, and it is smaller but quite powerful device, as it can manage up to 247 Modbus devices in a single chain, a mix of inverters, a mix of meters, sensors connected in a single daisy chain over a serial network or over a same IP connectivity networks over the TCP. It processes the data inside once it collects the information, and that data acquisition period from the field is user configurable. Once the data is getting processed, the process formats in CSV, which are further zipped, so that the data transfer could be quite easy and in minimum bytes to your information system, helps with the transfers with the help of a SIM card, which provides 2G, 3G, or 4G connectivity, or the internet being provided by the local Ethernet or the WAN connectivity available at the plant. These specific LEDs gives you the status and functionality at that moment of the device itself. It's quite small, DIN rail mounted, and yet very powerful. The firmwares are available to update over the air, so it requires minimal intervention at site once the configuration is done. Second evaluation is the WebDinson 4G. As you can see, it consists of additional interfaces, which includes your analog inputs to take the data from your 0 to 10 volt or 4 to 20 milliamperes based parameters, radiation sensors or temperature sensors or hygrometry sensors or wind speed. And it has also got the functionality to even add up and extend these ports with the help of module extensions. Plus, you have got the pulse entry, so you can connect the pulse meters, you can connect the specific proprietary protocol-based inverters like Refusol, SMA, Fronius, Kakor, Schneider, Delta, Solivia, the old European inverters, which were not having Modbus protocol as a standard for communications, but were having their own specific protocols. So WebDinson can manage to communicate with all these proprietary protocol-based inverters, in addition to the Modbus, unspec Modbus communicable inverters available today, which means in general, this device can communicate with A to Z inverters available today in the market. Capable to monitor as in WebDin Modbus, this device can also manage up to 247 devices in a single daisy chain over a serial network or the TCP IP network. The GPRS connectivity or the edge connectivity or the LTE 4G connectivity is again available. As you can see, the SIM slot in this device is available at the face, where you just need to insert a SIM. It consists of the well-renowned modem from the companies known as Sierra Wireless or the Quectel, and provides the seamless connectivity if your site is having that network available, and provides the flawless data on your user configurable times from few seconds to minutes on your information systems or the web portals. WebDinson PM, most advanced and versatile data concentrator come power controller for DGPV sync and zero power export control to grid, which is a better alternate to conventional PLCs for the controlling and management of your solar plants on a whole. It comes up with two LAN networks to manage two different independent networks, numbers of serial inputs to manage different daisy chains, statuses. So it can manage your plants at any levels, comes up with all the global standards that is went through, and it's a script enabler. So based on to the logic, we can define the script like we do in PLCs and can utilize it as a PLC or beyond. These devices comes up with inbuilt batteries, which are sufficient to generate you the power off and power on alerts in case of any power interruption to the device. So that you should know, sitting up 1,000 kilometers away from your plant, that why the data has interrupted on your plants. because the data logger supply was interrupted, and you will get the alert in real time. This architecture will clear all your points, which I've just tried to mention. The WebInstant PM, the device which you are seeing here in this slide. If you will see the architecture, whatever you have on the field, inverters, Modbus devices, meters, sensors, breakers, PLC, and the grid management system to control your grid or DG part, all can be managed with a single device. In addition, this is the explicit advantage that it can push the data onto dual servers. So one server could be your main server you are monitoring, second server could be again your another monitoring server, or could be your backup server to have your data available as a backup on the servers. Or this could be your BMS server, this could be your monitoring server for the solar plants. So you can utilize it in numerous ways. Whereas in WebIn Sun and WebIn Modbus, you will see the similar value chain. You have the numerous field devices communicating over different protocols, but pushing up the data with the help of internet available either through same card or through the Ethernet availability, pushing it onto a single server. So here you have the possibility to push the data onto dual servers with WebInstant PM in extensive cases, whereas with Sun and Modbus, you can do it on the single server and can have the better monitoring of your plants. Again, these devices are independent of the kilowatt or megawatt capacities of your plants. I'll just try to wrap up because I know my time is running up. Challenges do industry face? We all know that untapped overall plant performance. We have the plants running, or maybe some inefficient monitorings running, but due to those issues, we are not able to know the exact performance or to tap out the maximum performance out of our plant, where we have to face the numerous losses onto monetary terms. Unclear solar energy generation, no real-time energy insights are available. Detailed analytics is not available. You just have the basic screens where you can see the generation or the radiation, but no real KPIs or device level comparisons or plant level comparisons to know the exact performance or the deeper analytics of your plants. The power loss or the device failures, you never know usually that why the data has interrupted, what is happening at the plant. And solar plant PV underperformance, that why my plant is on but it's underperforming. What WebIn management system helps you in management of the renewable energy systems, in industrial and building monitoring and management system, and equipment or machine management systems. This screen will clear what I've tried to explain out of these few minutes. That you have this solar plant, where you have the modules, you have the MPPTs connected to your string inverters, you have the chains coming in as a communication from your sensors, inverters, meters to the data logger, and then the information is getting processed on the cloud or in-house web servers. So what all are the issues which you would like to monitor when you are sitting outside, which you can't even do with your naked eye when you are standing in front of your plant? These challenges could be underperformance due to panels getting dust accumulated or panels issue, could be MPPT failures, could be MPPT or inverters underperforming due to numerous reasons or losses in the cables, due to sensors underperforming or sensors non-availability in fact, or sensor failures, or due to meter tampering, or due to communication line cutoff, or due to grid unavailability, you are not getting the data. So most of these major issues can be answered with the specific solutions provided by WebIn, which gives you a very implicit information of your plant's performance. So these are the most relative issues like fall in PR. If you have done a very well best out of your designs, still the PR is not matching your performance or the expectation levels. Capital utilization factor of your plant is falling down, specific yield is getting down, low generation is becoming a big issue, loss of data, fall in efficiency of the overall plant that you expected, data ambiguity, which is not clear, data is not very accurate from what you tested on the site. So all these issues are getting resolved with the solution of WebDen that it provides. I will not go through most of the O&M issues. Maybe we'll discuss it later, and I could share the slide to the interested people. This is how the wirings are expected to be done when we really do in the daisy chain manner. You connect, as I mentioned, up to 247 devices in a chain. This is how you can do with a simple daisy chain arrangement, putting up the termination resistance at the beginning and the end of the chain makes it usable. So you can have any kind of Modbus device connected in the chain. Grounding, I'll not go through this. This is the typical inverter communication part that we usually see, how you can connect them through the daisy chain. You have the in and out available for data from each inverter. You connect these chains through the 2-core or 2.5 core shielded to switch pair daisy chain cable, connect them in a loop, and then connect the final output to the loggers, and you are all ready to get your information. This is how the basic wiring diagram goes. You have the layers of the optical isolations, surge arresters, and your field devices getting in, be it analog or be it Modbus, and a typical earth connections for the safety of the sites. The web portal, firstly, we are web portal agnostic, which means if you have your own servers, you are most welcome to get the information from your plants directly onto your field, and you are free to have the full control of your own data onto your servers, which means Webden don't carry your data, Webden don't store your data anyhow. But if you prefer to have the complete solution of the hardware, sensors, and the web portal from us, Webden is available for that as well, in association with our decade-old partners with the very extensive and research-based screens available for deeper analytics. As you can see, just a screenshot from the cockpit, then you can move deeper into the analytics. So Webden works with the exclusive web portal partner to offer a complete solution, or just the hardware solutions to the web portal companies, or to the customers or the prospects who prefer to go separately for the web portal and the data loggers and sensors with the based on to the expertise and their comfort level. So Webden is available for any kind of thinking that you might have. To get the solutions. Our solutions are well suitable for solar plants ranging from few kilowatt peak to the megawatt peak levels. So what value realization finally you get from the Webden's solution? Accurate monitoring of your solar PV plant, enhanced monitoring at each device level you have on the site, best suitable solution for your heterogeneous applications, having any make and model of inverters, meters, sensors, breakers, relays on the field, dynamic power control of solar with your DG or your grid requirements, enhance plant performance, and reduce O&M cost. This is really what we are unknown of, and we keep our fingers crossed always, because we are uncertain that how our O&M costs will be, let's say after a few years from the installations or after the warranty periods of the devices that we have put in. So this is where the real cost comes up. So Webden devices, being a quality-oriented devices, helps you to enhance your plant performance and reduction in O&M cost, low manpower cost, because the traveling reduces a lot on the sites. Globally accepted data concentrators with no cheaper specific pre-made boards from Raspberry Pi or Arduino. So we have our own specific design, specific boards, patented boards that we manufacture and we put in. As our R&D team is based in Europe, in France, and Spain. Some of our valued customers from India, Southeast Asia, industrial customers, smart metering customers that we cater to, transport related customers, some of the European rail network customers, some of our customers' feedbacks based on to what they feel about Webden's overall solutions from India and across the globe. Some of our test certificates that we talk about, we really go through all these standards based on to the specific test that our solutions have gone through. And you're most welcome to come up with your queries if you have after this session or during this session. You have our contact details available in this slide. We have the offices spreaded all across the globe and with 30 plus offices direct and through the partners across the globe to manage the customers. Thank you very much for your patience and to listen this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this insightful presentation, sir. Now it's time for second presentation by Mr. Eric Yang, Senior Energy Storage Solution Engineer, Goodwe.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we
Hello.
can.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is Eric from Goodwe Solar Academy Storage Solution Department, and Goodwe is a manufacturer of grid-tied inverter for residential and commercial and utility scenario, but also Goodwe is also a manufacturer of storage inverter and battery. So today I will give you a brief introduction of Goodwe residential energy storage solution. And this is our product map for the residential storage inverter. We have the hybrid inverter, or in some countries we call it DC couple inverter, and also we have the AC couple inverter for both single phase and three phase grid. Also, about the battery, we can connect to the low voltage battery, mostly is the 48 volts battery, and also we can connect to the high voltage battery, for example, 200 or 300 volts. So, and the power range is from 3 kilowatt to 10 kilowatt. Here, this is the Goodwe energy storage solution. And first, this is the operation logic for our hybrid inverter. And the diagram includes the solar panels, our hybrid inverter, and the Goodwe Link's home battery. Also, we can connect to your home load, the on-grid load, and the backup load. And we provide Goodwe smart meter and CT connected to the grid. And the PV supply priority is PV will support the home load first. If it has the rest power, it will charge the battery. Then it can export to the grid. Also, you can set, for example, in some countries, the grid do not allow the solar to feed to the grid. Also, you can set, for example, the zero export to the grid. We can set it in our app. And during nighttime, the battery will discharge to support the home load. And if the grid failed, the solar and the battery will only support the backup load, and it will do not feed to the grid to support the on-grid load. So if you have some important load that you do not want, and you want it to work during the grid failed, you can connect this important load to our backup output terminal. Then the the PV panel and the battery will support the load during the grid fails. And this is the load consumption priority. The load consumption, the first priority is from the PV, and the second priority is the battery. And if the during nighttime there's no PV and the battery is empty, the grid will support the home load. Okay, and this is our operation logic. When the grid failed, we have the UPS level switch time. The switch time is less than 10 milliseconds. So the system will switch from on-grid mode to off-grid mode if the grid failed and the switch time is less than 10 milliseconds. Okay, this is our AC retrofit solution. And if you have installed a grid-tied inverter system, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and you want to upgrade this grid-tied inverter system to a storage inverter system, we can add the AC couple inverter, or we can call it AC retrofit inverter, and you do not need to remove the grid-tied inverter you have installed 2 or 3 years ago. And the working logic is the same as hybrid inverter system. And our system can work with the third party on-grid inverter. So we do not require the grid-tied inverter brand is GoodWe. You can use other brand, for example, SMA Furnace and other grid-tied inverter. Okay, and this is our parallel solution. So the maximum capacity of for single inverter is 10 kilowatts. So if you have a, a system which connects the, for example, 30 kilowatt PV panels, maybe you need 3 ET like the picture shows, and we also support this scenario. And the maximum capacity is 100 kilowatts. So we support 10 ET series parallel connection. And this is a solution when your home is 3-phase and you just want to install a single phase inverter. We also support this scenario. And this is our capacity extension solution. And if you have installed a grid-tied inverter maybe many years ago, and you want to install more PV panels, and you also want to upgrade this system to a storage inverter system, you can install the hybrid inverter parallel connected to the on-grid inverter. This is our battery-ready solution. If you only want to install a grid-tied inverter, but you want to upgrade this system to a storage inverter system maybe 2 or 3 years later, and you can get our inverter series, EHR or ETR series. And the hardware is the same as EH and ET, the hybrid inverter, but we have closed the battery function by firmware, so the price is lower than EH and ET series. And if later you can get the activation code from us, and then this inverter system can upgrade to the hybrid inverter system. Okay. And this is our all-in-one solution. We have integrate the hybrid inverter system. The provide box includes the breaker for on-grid side, backup side, and the battery side. Also, we have integrated the battery bank into this into this ESA series, the all-in-one solution. Okay. And also we have some solution. For example, the battery power reservation. We can set it on in our app. We can set different DOD levels for off-grid and on-grid conditions to make sure when grid failed, the battery still have enough power to support the home load. Also, we can choose the backup mode. The backup mode means the battery will not discharge when there is grid, and it will only discharge when grid failed. And also we can set the economic mode. We can set the charge time or discharge time to make sure the battery will only charge or discharge during the time pyramid we set. And we also have some other solutions. For example, the load monitoring. I think it is very important for our end user to check the home load consumption is from PV or from battery or from the grid. So we provide this platform to give our end user to check the home load consumption. And this is some features of GoodWe solutions. First is the one-stop solution, and I think GoodWe has provided all the components needed for the system operation, and we do not need the separate purchasement. For example, we have provided the PV terminal, the AC terminal, and the Wi-Fi module, the smart meter, and the CT. Also, we have provided the communication cable from smart meter and the inverter, the communication cable from inverter and the battery. And this is our UPS level switch time. We have three relays inside of the inverter, and when the grid is available, the relay 1 and the relay 2 is closed, so the inverter output will support both on-grid output and backup output. And when the grid failed, the relay 1 and the relay 2 will open, and the relay 3 is closed, so the inverter will only support the backup load connected to our backup output terminal. And the relay 1, relay 2, relay 3, the operation of these three relays is less than 10 milliseconds, so we can make sure the UPS level switch time. And this is our quick installation and commission. For the installer, it can save time and save money for installer to install GoodWay storage inverter system. And the installation time is about maybe half an hour to 40 minutes. And this is some basic commissions when you install GoodWay storage inverter. First, you need to connect your cell phone to GoodWay inverter by Wi-Fi or by Bluetooth. Then open the app, and we need to choose the safety code. For example, you install it in India or in other countries, you need to choose the safety code. And then you need to choose the operation mode, for example, the general mode or the backup mode or the economic mode. You need to choose the inverter operation mode. And thirdly, you need to choose which brand of battery you are using. For example, you are using Good brand or other brand. And the last is the meter test. We need to check the meter is installed correct or not. Okay. And this is our 100% unbalanced output. Because if you are install a three-phase storage inverter, but most of the home load is single phase, so the load is unbalanced between these three phase, and the good three-phase storage inverter can have this 100% unbalanced function. For example, if you have 6 kilowatt and the home load is 1 kilowatt in phase 1, 3 kilowatt in phase 2, and 2 kilowatt in phase 3. So the inverter output is 1 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt, and 2 kilowatt for each phase. So there is no power feed to grid. Okay, this is our compatible batteries. We have compatible, for example, Good battery, BYD, LG, Alpha, Panasonic, and Dennis. For the low voltage battery, and for high voltage battery, we have you can use Goodway or BYD or Panasonic, LG, Dennis high voltage battery. Okay. And this is our smart control solution. For some big loads, you do not want to use it when PV is not enough. And we have provided this dual contact. So, and this dual contact can connect to the inverter. So we can control the big load on or off by app. And this is our monitoring and the VPP function. For the modules, we have the Wi-Fi module, Wi-Fi and the LAN module, and the Bluetooth for our end user to choose which module is suitable. And we have our app for the local monitoring. Also, we do have the server located in Australia, Germany, and Hong Kong. Also, we have the open API for the user that if the user do not want to use the Google platform, we can provide our open API to this kind of users to develop their own platform. Also, we do have our own platforms, themes, and you can check the inverter working information in your laptop or in your cell phone. Okay. This is a smart home system. We for example, if you have installed a smart plug and the gateway, and the GoodWay storage inverter can communicate to this smart plug and the gateway to control the plug working or not. Okay, this is our smart home system. the logic is the same as the smart plug and the gateway. So a good hybrid system could be able to communicate with smart plug and open remote control to realize power supply priority and real-time energy monitoring, which help to increase solar energy power supply efficiency. Okay, and this is the VPP, and VPP is very popular in some countries, and Goodway, all the Goodway energy storage inverter has an EMS port, and we can buy Modbus IT or Modbus TCP and the soundspec protocols. So the EMS port can open to the EMS manufacturer, and we can provide Goodway protocols for this EMS manufacturer to control Goodway storage inverter to charge battery or discharge the battery. Okay, and this is our Goodwill Solar community. You can find some installation videos or the product introduction videos, and also you can share your information in this Goodwill Solar community. And okay, that's all for my presentation. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, sir, for such an interesting presentation. So now it's time to begin with our most awaited panel discussion, in which our expert panelists will discuss the best practices of solar O&M for managing a diverse and remote portfolio. And to discuss this, we have in the panel with us Mr. Supa Basairat, Country Director, Vietnam, Super
Wadika.
Leader Corporation, Mr. Eric Yang, Senior Energy Storage Solution Engineer, Goodwill, Mr. Gurdeep Singh Juneja, Managing Director, Webbed in India, Mr.
Hello,
T.S.
everyone.
Mr. T.S. Izwan Rasool, Country Manager, Leader Energy Group, Mr. Alan Himes, Managing Director, Indigo Energy. But before handing over the session to Super Sir, I would like to make a small announcement for all the attendees. If you have any question during the discussion, please post them in the Q&A box. Our panelists will take those questions at the end of the discussion. Now I welcome all the panelists on the screen and requesting Super Sir to lead the discussion. Welcome to the screen, sir.
Thank you, Vaishali. Okay, I think, sorry. Okay, everyone also can hear me clearly, right?
Yes.
Uh, okay, can I know something, Vaishali? And now, how many participants in our seminar? Because I could not see from the monitor.
So we have around 200 plus in the webinar.
Okay. Okay, welcome everyone to the over conference by how to say that is SolarQuarter. Okay. I think that's we make it like a friendly, so every of our speaker that you can share whenever you think that is necessary. Okay. So I don't want to limit because of time really run out. So I will start with uh, Gurdeep, the first one that you present from your product. So what did you think that's very important for the excellence in O&M, in your opinion, and how we cooperate by, how to say, the best practice for everyone, and for the other, like Alan, and sorry, I have some problem of my camera. So anyone also would to join, okay, go ahead, okay, Gurdeep, because you are the one of the supplier or system integrator, maybe you can have some comment something on this matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Supa. So as you have correctly mentioned, the O&M is the next big challenge that comes up for any solar developer. After putting up the plant, we try to build up our plant irrespective of whatever capacities we are putting in for. We want it to be super efficient, effective, running at the minimal O&M cost for the year. And for that, then we have to follow certain thumb rules, which we try to follow, but then to monitor. So there are 3 M's we usually believe into, which is like measure, monitor, and then manage. So if you have to manage something carefully, you need the correct information from your field devices. Each and every device is connected. Not only the devices, I'll say, as I just tried to explain from one of my slides, that the issues which are around those informations, which could be breaked connectivity, which could be the breaked wiring, which could be communication card failures, which could be internet issues, which could be dust accumulated on panels, which could be inverter inefficiency, which could be anything related to the O&M and the plant's performance, because even a single unit generated or lost costs us a huge money as a developer. So we are, being a developer, we are very concerned onto the best O&M practices to follow on the sites. Sometimes it has also been observed that despite having the best of the devices implemented on our solutions, we are still not able to get maximum out of it. A reason? Because either we have the semi-skilled or the unskilled site persons available. We have the team sitting in office at design levels, which is very efficient and effective. They make very good designs for the site, but when it comes to the real implementation at the field, we try to source a very low cost manpower sometimes, which is actually the sometimes getting our overall plant's performance degrading over the periods, because we try to implement an electrical or a mechanical engineer, for example, for communications setup, and with his best information he tries to do that, but then still there is some a particular part which he misses out because it was not into his study or experience levels. Sometimes we try to put up a communication engineer onto the mechanical parts, so there is a lot of shuffling happens, because we have to utilize whatever resources we have to do multiple jobs. But then what it requires, here I'm not saying that you should put up your overheads unnecessarily. What I prefer is to have the periodic trainings, more importantly of your site persons, more than your design engineers who are skilled and who know how to connect it. But to me, the site level persons are the one from where the trainings should start. Instead of we are sitting in the panels, we are discussing among, after this session maybe we'll make some notes and we'll go. But what the final person who is still available at site is collecting, is getting from this seminar. So kind of a session needs to be arranged for them as well at a personal capacities, so that they can understand, look, this is what at least minimum you have to take care of, which will improve your plant's performance, which will decrease the issues that we are encountering regularly onto various aspects, be it at mechanical levels, civil levels, or the electrical or electronics level. Once we have this task force trained, based on to the data that we have, because even to do that, we need to have the information and the data. So once we have this data, we know, and then definitely we will see, because this is why I say that management plays a big role, for which we need the data, and then from where to start it, because I prefer to have it in the reverse engineering manner, not to have this information flow from top to down, but to have it from down to up, which helps to have the better O&M and low downtime.
Okay. You finished, Gurudev?
Yeah, super.
I have to thank you so much, Gurudev. I think it's very same my opinion, like you monitor whole system, mechanical, electrical, electronic, and so on. And cost related is also very important.
Yes.
So I want to ask from if I'm not, if I'm correct, is Mr. Edren from Indigo. Any you as the investor, maybe you have any idea, and after that maybe Mr. Iswan Rasul, you later from Malaysia. I mean, Mr. Ellen, where city you from? I'm sorry, I could not check it now. Okay, Mr. Ellen, go ahead. I'm not sure, Mr. Allen, can you hear me? Okay, maybe Mr. Iswan Rasul, you first. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. A very good afternoon. Thank you, Supa, for the introduction. Before I just continue, I just like to introduce who Leader Energy is. We have been in the power industry for the past many years, more than 20 years, but focusing on renewables. We own and operate utility scales in Malaysia and Vietnam, close to about 400 megawatt peak. And we also recently acquired LYS Energy, uh, where we have rooftop assets all around Southeast Asia, uh, totaling about close to 60 megawatt peak. To go back to the question being posted, I totally agree with what Google says.
Is also very important.
Are we Sorry. Okay, I totally agree with what Mr. Gudip said earlier. Yes, you can have a full end expert level at the office, but you still need a very good O&M team who are capable to actually diagnose any sort of problems while looking at the monitoring screen. Okay, anyone can just look at the screen, but the ability to actually diagnose what problem it is and how to rectify it at a very fast speed, because time also plays a very crucial factor to avoid downtime in the plant, in a utility scale plant. Okay. Also, going back to what Mr. Goodrich said, we hire cheap installers in view to actually cut costs. I agree with that, and I have seen many various problems where basically an installer using MC4, but using a wrong type of pin in the male and female. Although a small mistake, but that could lead to something catastrophic. Yep, that's all I have to say for now.
You finished or not, Mr. Iswan?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Mr. Amren, maybe you have some different idea that's from your perspective. Go ahead. Mr. Allen, can you hear us? You want to say something about this issue, about best practice of solar?
I think we
Okay.
Wi-Fi issues.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Allen. Someone from Vasali, can you check from Mr. Allen what's something wrong for connection? Then I have to during waiting. May I ask from another one, Gui? Do you have any idea about this matter? Okay, just end up for this matter first. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me? Kudu is a manufacturer of storage inverter and grid-tied inverter, and we are focused on this industry. And we know, for example, the data is very the data in this system is very important for our end user, and also could we also cooperate with some manufacturer, for example, the EMS or the home load design manufacturer, and we can provide all the data that could we storage inverter or grid-tied inverter get. For example, the PV production, the PV voltage, PV current, the AC output, and also we can provide the other data, for example, the temperature of the inverter and the power feed to the grid. We can provide all this data to other device by, for example, the IS485 or the Modbus TCP or the Modbus RTU. So we want to do this, and we are developing our own platform for our end user to check this kind of information conveniently by cell phone or by your laptop. Yeah.
Thank you. Alan, now it's okay. Your turn. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me this time?
Yeah. Now okay. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Good. Because I had a few false starts in there. I wasn't sure if I was coming through or not. So yeah. So from our perspective as say an EPC company and also a pure engineering company, the some of the things that were mentioned earlier about unskilled labor and training the unskilled labor who needs to be on site. And so I think something that goes along with that, of course, is the standard operating procedures to make sure that the processes that we are training people on are standardized across the whole portfolio of clients or projects. So I think those things go hand in hand, and that's something that our O&M team does spend a fair amount of time on, both thinking about the SOP and then also thinking about how to best make it easy for the guy on site to use to be able to accomplish his mission and get and I guess essentially reduce the friction so that a low skilled guy on site can get things done. I mean, as efficiently as they can, considering his background, and technology can help do that.
Thank you, Alan. Because now you on the your I'm sorry, don't close microphone because you are from EPC side. Maybe many of plan that in Asian like our plan in Vietnam we now running about 3 year or 4 year, in Thailand more than 5 year. Any recommendation? That's the strategy. That's how we reduce the cost or how we increase the more power from your perspective, because of new technology with the solar PV and inverter. Maybe you can recommend at your perspective from EPC. And after that, I would like from the owner side, what is your idea? Okay, start with Alan first.
Sure. So, I mean, this is probably not very helpful for folks who are only focused on O&M, but start with a good design, right? So, buy good quality products, uh, you know, tier one products with a good warranty. Of course, that's first step, because we see that sometimes if we look at other people's systems that we don't design, we do, if we end up evaluating the O&M for or evaluating a system to consider doing O&M for design, and even just the things that you see in the media, commercial side, a lot of promises made and a lot of low quality brought in. And so that's my first instinct is you pay now, that's to pay up front for something good quality in mind in the future.
Thank you. I have similar like you mentioned,
and of course all of the standard things, cleaning.
Yeah.
And from the operations perspective, clean your panels, electrical maintenance, thermal, camera, check for hot spots, all of these kind of, replace panels when there's something wrong, all of that kind of standard O&M.
Perfect.
Work, of course,
quite agree, because very similar situation. Like we select from the PV from tier one, like insurance and even inverter. We also select from the best quality. So I want to ask from another one from inverter, a bit from Malaysia. Sorry, my sorry, my computer is something wrong. So Mr. Rusan, right? Maybe you have any idea that you from Malaysia, as you already run the plan from the quiet periods. Maybe you have any idea that to share on this matter. And after that, I need the two suppliers to share on the the perspective or system integrator. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Supa. I agree with what Alan says. Always choose the best product. However, no best products. Every product comes with their set of failures and problems and stuff. It's a very common practice. So this keeps the team, the O&M site team busy, and also the opportunity for them to learn and gain more knowledge on troubleshooting, rectification of in case of any problems. Okay, we have a few sites at different climate areas. So climate change also and the surrounding area plays also another role. For example, if you have a solar farm next to a chicken farm, so you tend to get a lot of lice, and this may affect your inverter having a lot of visitors, especially the flies, and that will have issues mainly pertaining to temperature that will be clogging up at the heat sink. Sorry, just being a very technical. So things like that also plays um, different roles on, although products that you choose are still very good quality, climate and the surrounding of where your plant is located also plays another contributing factors. And then problems, and then having the adequate spare parts. Sometimes mostly utility scale plants are located away from urban areas, so um, spare parts is also something very important to
Yeah,
actually have on
agree.
site. Yeah,
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah, and also agree with what Alan says. You have a O&M SOPs that if it's basically a fail proof and a foolproof. If it's being followed diligently, I believe the plant can be performing at where it's supposed to be.
Thank you. I think so. We have very similar experience, like in our plant in Vietnam or even in Thailand. We lost some spare part and some PV in some period, or maybe flood or something that cost a lot of money. Not only like the short of power supply, also, but it's like cost us a lot of money. So from another with the Eric, from your perspective, from could we maybe you have some recommendation, and later Mr. Gurdeep, you also like from system integrator. Can you see something different from us, like investor or EPC? Thank you. Go ahead. Mr. Eric first and Mr. Gurdeep later. Thank you. Eric, are you there? Then Mr. Gurdeep, you first. Maybe Eric lost again.
Sure, no problem. Mr. Supa, as we have seen again in the discussion that, what the point Mr. Alan was having, and similarly in continuation to that, Mr. Izwan Rasool is having. The point is like, to have your best O&M team on the ground, and how it can be best, like, it cannot be just based on to the educational backgrounds or the number of experience mentioned in the CVs. It could be related to what task you have assigned, and he should be having that on ground information. Just giving you a few real time examples. For example, in the design, you have mentioned a specific earthing to be done for a specific DC, AC, and communication sites. But if he's just having no idea what real earthing or a grounding or a signal ground or a shield ground means, he will just mix up everything and may connect everything onto the earth, which may then impact your valuable PLCs, communication devices, or even the inverters connected on the field, just in a matter of spike or a surge or a lightning impact. So this is where they need to have these sessions, understanding on the subjects which are more relative to each other. For example, as I've just mentioned, earthing and grounding are two different things. But as a layman, if I'm not from the similar background, I'll understand both of them as the same thing, which is really not same. Similarly, the signal level grounding, the shield groundings. So, these specific topics and training sessions, that's why I encourage more onto it. Even sometimes from the last experiences, we might have seen, okay, earthing is to be done. So I am expert on earthing, or maybe based on to the experience that I've gone through. But grounding, to me, I've heard, and since I carry much more experience, I'll be a bit reluctant to even ask to my superior that what is the difference between grounding and electrical earthing. I might try to do it with my understanding what I'm having, in my, okay, I did that in my previous work and I'll try to do that. No, we have to, being a senior sitting at the management levels in the organizations, we have to study their mind, their behavior, because sometimes people don't ask you the questions. You have to study them, that what he may try to do, try to read their mind, and arrange the proper fortnightly or monthly training and meeting sessions with your team, different departments of the team, including your ground level team, so that the information exchange can happen. And even if he was having some concern or doubt which he was not trying to discuss with you, but he can get the answer during those open sessions like we are discussing over here in this panel. This is where I feel like, to have this know-how shared training is very needed. Onto the EPC levels, selection of the proper material. For example, when we talk about the communications cables, usually it comes into the mind that we have Cat6 cables in stock and we use it even for the RS-485 communications, which is totally wrong. But we do. We have several plants where Cat6 are working, and these are not recommended because over a period of time it will add on to your O&M cost. They have the restrictions onto the length. They are more prone to build up the specific EMI, electromagnetic interferences, inside your data that is getting transferred due to the leftover cores and non improper grounding, or even no grounding of the shields that protects it from the specific lightning impacts or the disturbances, noise in the signal, which might generate from numerous points or the levels. So this is where the practice is. So it was very well mentioned by Mr. Rasul that even if you are going for the perfect device, it can fail. Why it can fail? Because if it is not being managed properly at the site. So this is where the point really comes up. And nothing is 100% perfect. If it can be, it is only God. So we can try to be close to that perfection, not only at the product level, but at our on-site team level as well, which reduces our O&M costs very, very drastically. And we can have a better ROI, even if we are putting up the most expensive items during the initial purchase and implementation of the plans. This is all from my side.
Thank you, Kudif. I think you're very professional person to answer on the thing. Can I contact Mr. Eric Yang or something wrong or he left for a while? However, it's okay if we can come back. Mr. Eric, okay. I want to have another question to Mr. Iswan. This is for you. I could not know. Can you answer me first? How many year of your plan in operation in average?
Okay. In average, about 4 years.
Okay. I have question. If you can come back, and not the best practice only, what you think that if you could fix it from beginning, what the thing you must do, you understand? Now you already 4 years, you think about, if I come back, what I should do it and to make my plan better. Okay. So similar like, you have to repowering and something. So maybe you can like explain in full detail because we have
Sure.
plenty of time. I think it's very
Sure.
important on us to learn from you in this regard. Thank you.
Sure. First thing first, it will be design. That's the thing. Okay, design. And then secondly is to convince the management your design is good. Thirdly is to convince the financial team whether the financial modeling and the returns is good. Okay, in Malaysia, a 5 degree stick angle for solar panels gives the optimum absorption of the irradiance, okay, versus a 10 degrees. However, from an O&M perspective, if you have a tilt of 5 degrees, you will create a water stagnation at the end of the panels, okay? That will create to more dirt accumulation, and that particular dirt will be very hard to actually be removed, as opposed to having a tilt angle of 10 degrees where water can just flow down to the panel and avoid this water stagnation portion. In time, you will tend to have a better PR in the long run, maybe at year 7 or year 8, as opposed to spending a lot on panel cleaning. And okay, although in the market now there are panel drainage clips, that is also added cost to that. So the first thing would be the design. Okay. Secondly, having a very thorough research on who are your manufacturers providers. For example, in the industry, not with Leader Energy, but in my previous company where I was doing O&M for other plants who are about 5 and 6 years old. In Malaysia, I would not tell the brand name. The inverter manufacturer just has decided to close their business in the country. So support is no longer there. And warranty extension is also no longer there. So whenever you have a problem of the particular inverter, you are just left by your own. And that will lead to, if you really cannot repair and you cannot get the expert people to come down and repair that inverter, you will have a prolonged downtime and you ended up spending more money to buy a new inverter. So design, research, that's two things. How do you convince your top management to ensure returns are also at a happy area? Being developers, returns are always the first important thing. So the rest comes later. So a mixture of challenges here. So yeah, that's all.
This one, you in same place as me. I have really like to wish that is I could go back on the beginning and I can restart and reinstall something again. So this is I would leave to Alan and Kuldeep if in a similar question, if some of us want to build a solar plant, what do you think that we should remind and we should think about this? I add up a little bit from each one, not just only good design, good construction control, everything must be there, and the system that to integrate on the thing, not just to have it, but not not nice to have, but it must have it from beginning. Okay, Gurdeep first or Alan first? Okay, Gurdeep and then Alan.
Okay.
As you are like recommend, if like start from beginning, what we should remind and should think about this. Okay.
Yeah. So first thing, we discussed in the very beginning, again, Mr. Rasul raised up that point that firstly to have the spares, a minimum needed spare available with you. Secondly, while selecting any specific product, be it for modules, for inverters, for monitoring, for structures, which requires the regular troubleshooting maybe down the line, and needs the regular interaction with the company service support teams. There we should as a depending on to the company levels, at a management level or being at the procurement level, we should not look only onto two factors, which are okay, the product is global, it is good, or or it is available local but at a very low cost, having the same features which I'm looking for. What else I want? No. So our requirements should be even more. Firstly, we should have the background check of the company. How reliable is the company? What are the number of years he has been into this country for the operations? What are there, actually, we cannot be 100% sure, but we can try to have some research on this level, that what are their futuristic plans for the growth in this country or across the globe, so that even if they try to exit from the particular location tomorrow for any reason, at least we can touch to their headquarters and head offices, because they are a global company. They are available globally. We can try to get the support from there, but at least our plant will not be dead, and we will not be having the we'll have to replan the whole new investment again onto that aspect. So to me, as per me, not only the product or its cost, usually it is of importance, but we should have a third checklist, or I'll say the first checklist should be this. In fact, when we are shortlisting a company, first of all, do a background check about the company you are getting the solutions from. There are several suppliers for the similar solution available, but then do check the past history, balance sheets, futuristic forecasts. Then come on to the quality levels, certifications if they are globally doing it, then onto the service support network that they have, then onto the cost. Because see, cost is the resultant of all these factors. It's not only the manufacturing cost that comes up, so it consists of several things. Then a benchmarking has to be decided. Usually what we do, we forget the benchmarking. We say we need this, and whoever is giving it at a lower price, we straight away go with that. And that causes a problem in the no, I will not say even in the longer run, but in the shorter run, from 1 or 2 years down the line, our plant was set up, and then we have to reinvest onto that particular aspect once the company decides to move away, from the market, because they realize that, okay, there is no more place for them to go, or the acceptability is not more there, for whatever reason. So then ultimately, who is at the loss? The developer or the end user who was monitoring it, or who was managing their plant.
Okay, thank you. Alan, now you're ready, huh? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a little tricky to go at the end of such good quality answers, but I think that the comment was made about good quality installation practices, components, etc. And I think Gurdeep touched on this as well with the background checks on the company and certifications. And so I think that leads quite nicely into to my point, which is you need to. I mean, you need to have, to get all of those other things. You have to have good people, and I think that's something that we as engineers often don't think about, right? And we don't think about the development of people, hiring the right people in the first place, because that's massive. That's something that's really made a difference in our company. When trying to fix the wrong person is a lot different from simply finding the right person in the first place and letting them do a good job from the beginning, right? That actually helps the company grow. And if you have people who are qualified, right? And another thing, which is also a little less tangible and more difficult, I think, as engineers, we don't think about this, but it's passion for what you're doing. And whatever your job function is, because if you have skilled people, smart people, and they're passionate, then you will get good quality, right? They won't choose low quality components because they know the long term, short term, as Gurdeep mentioned, but medium and long term effects of that, right? Because yes, we can save money today, but tomorrow we need to spend more money again. And so that
exactly, Alan.
The people aspect, I think, is something that's rather important, because that leads into all of the other things that we've already discussed.
It's clear from the audience that is very important that all of us also pass already, like when the first the 3 months after I'm taking care for operation and maintenance, we found that from from the construction phase, from design phase, on a lot of things like a capex, and later on, the cost of opex, it coming if we not plan well from the beginning, right? Is one. It's very clear, right? It come back. So Okay, this is very clear for all of us to answer these things. So I have last question. Start from each one first. What do you think about opportunity in Malaysia, or maybe you talk about Southeast Asia, or including Asia, that you can look from future for the business in solar and so on. Okay, go ahead.
I think okay. First, there will be two topics. I think in since we are in the remote portfolio, how we managing plants in a remote area. Another thing is what the industry players can offer is smart IV curve tracing at plants. Imagine a plants with 100, 200,000 panels and you get your O&M guys to do IV curve tracing manually. That's something this can be explored where I know only a few inverters manufacturers does that, but if that can be the next big thing in terms of opportunity for products manufacturers to come up with IV curve tracing functionality with AI backup technology towards that. Another thing, what will be the opportunity within the region? I think storage, battery energy storage system will be the next big thing, especially in Vietnam, where curtailment is a big issue there right now. So during this curtailment period, that's where storage would be the ideal solution here. And because the ROI in Vietnam is pretty good compared to Malaysia right now. Energy storage in Malaysia is still in the infancy stage right now because the returns are still not good and it's still the economical of scale is still not there. So, however, in line with the government's policy, the government is stopping the net energy metering scheme uh, in the next 10 years. So, I believe then BESS solution in Malaysia will be good that time. But for Vietnam, I think it's now. Yeah.
Okay. I share you a little bit. That is, I just released from magazine in morning from Thailand that for solar this year government open for 4.4 gigawatt, and for solar plus energy they also open with like the tariff allow 8.3 cent. I think that's a good opportunity for you to think about this. But in Vietnam, PPD 8 not yet issue, still like a talking discussion, and not yet for solar. Solar have to wait for 1 gigawatt in next 7 or 8 years now. And many of producer for solar also want to convince the government to have more solar, but wind, of course, have a lot. So, from your perspective, Mr. Kuldeep and Mr. Allen, again, and you like supplier or you are like contractor, maybe you can see something different from me and Mr. Iswan as we are investor. Okay, please go ahead. And now I change to Mr. Allen first, and then Mr. Kuldeep. All right, Allen, you first.
Sure, sure. So I guess I'll talk about it actually more as I see the opportunity for people who have a very large risk appetite. So Indigo Energy is based in Myanmar, of course. And so, as most people in the region know, that the political situation here can be very exciting, and so people with a risk appetite to handle this kind of excitement can see a lot of opportunity for PPAs essentially that can help, including storage, because there's a couple of things going on at the moment. So there are diesel shortages, and so diesel is difficult to get, and then there are regular blackouts. So we have 4 to 8 hours of blackouts every day, and at the moment they're scheduled so they can be dealt with. But obviously that's how do people deal with it? They turn on a diesel generator. Diesel generators are expensive in the long term compared to solar, and even to storage if if your time horizon is high enough. So those who like excitement and have have a long term vision for what Myanmar can be, then I think investing in solar plus storage in Myanmar is where it's at.
Thank you, Alan. So, Gurdeep, can you see something?
Yes. So as Webden, as I've just tried to give a brief background about Webden in the initial presentation, that we are in this ecosystem since last 21, 22 years now. And we understand each and every aspect of IoT and the need of the industry, because it's not only a product that we are manufacturing and selling it to the users based on to their requirements. Instead, we prepare the application cases and the solutions that we can offer to reduce the O&M and the running cost of the companies, be it, as Alan was saying about the diesel consumptions in the DGs. So the cases was, to have, if you have the solar as a hybrid generating part for your industry or the specific case, then the idea is to have the maximum utilization from the solar, even if you have to run the diesel generator, so that the minimum diesel is consumed and maximum savings on the diesel levels are done, because you have done the investment onto the solar, be it on capex or opex basis, because one or the other has to manage the solar anyhow. Second, so we provide the solutions, controllers which manage a good balance between the DG and the solar generation. Similarly, in the areas where you need to restrict your excess generation to flow back to the grid, and you don't have the battery implemented as of now in your cases, which means you cannot send that excess power to your battery to get charged. So you have to curtail your inverters to avoid getting penalized and to avoid disturbing your grids. Again, Webden makes the solution which I presented as Webden Sun PM, one of the product in the same field. Or if you have both, which means you have on grid on one side, you have DG on another side, and you have solar as the third generation part on your side, and you have a single load to manage. So we can manage both parallelly, which is grid, backfeeding to grid and backfeeding to DG with minimum consumption from grid or minimum consumption from DG and maximum utilization of the solar, which improves our wealth, in fact, and reduces the carbon footprints, which is what is the theme for which we have implemented the renewables, to reduce the carbon footprints, to have the better climate for survival, and to see it as the futuristic, because even we are working on to, and we have worked on to, the artificial intelligence based informations, where you can be forecasted to clean. You don't need to send the person every 15 days or 10 days onto the site just to clean the modules, even if they are clean, because sometimes you have the dust storms, sometimes you have the rain droplets, which is just making your panels a bit muddy due to dust already accumulated over it. So you need to know in real time when you need to actually deploy your resource. It's not like you have made up a schedule that even if my panels are dirty or not, you have to send a person, because it again costs to send a person or to have the agreement with your O&M team. So better is to have the insights. And Mr. Rasool mentioned very clearly that initially you should have a correct person who is just not only monitoring the screen, but digging deeper into the device level, component level, and then realizing based on to the tickets generated at what I need to do at the site level with this analytics to increase my efficiency. It could be module cleaning simply, but then you get the alert that you have to clean the modules to increase your efficiency, because your inverters are now generating down. So you don't need to schedule every 15 days or 1 month. So because it can vary from site to site and locations to locations, depending on the coordinates where you are put up. In Malaysia, as Mr. Rasool mentioned, you have to have a 5 degree of the tilt for better efficiency, whereas in Vietnam, it could be 10 degree or 8 degrees. So in 5 degrees, there are more chances that the dust can get accumulated and the water as well, leading to more regular cleanings. But then again, your monitoring can help you to decide that how often you need to do that. Similarly, you can also decide maybe instead of 5 degrees, you need to manage it even at 4 degree or 6 degrees. So with the monitoring of 2 or 3 of your plants or different number of plants, you can even compare plant to plant comparisons. Look, with this trial, this plant having the similar devices is generating bit more than this plant, which I was doing conventionally. So you have the comparisons right available at your systems if you are doing it, monitoring it deeply. So we have done the projects in Vietnam, we have done the projects in Myanmar, we have done the projects in most of the Southeast Asian countries with the EPCs and developers, and we are trying to grow more and getting more deeper into the market.
Okay, thank you. We spent time very, how to say, perfect. So, Mr. Vaisali, this is like a question and answer, but I could not see the question from the audience home state. Maybe someone can support me about this matter.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is no question and answers from the audience right now.
Okay, if we have no question, maybe some of us want to share something to the audience right now. For me, I have the short message that all of us already mentioned. Each one good eve or even because of Mr. Eric is not here, and Mr. Allen was talking about to select the good material and design. Contractor, the people, manpower is on important. Otherwise, the cost from CAPEX from beginning, you will have the cost from OPEX in later. Okay, maybe someone want to share something from your statement. Okay, go ahead. If you want to share something for the last or is one, or you have nothing. Okay, so we have to say goodbye then.
Yeah, so what I would like to share is that, whatever information or questions you have or you want to share to us to know more about, because see, these sessions are always very good because it gives us a broad idea, but then if we cannot go more deeper due to time constraints, limited questions at this moment, but the questions may come up later when we discuss it with the team members also. So we are always available, even offline, to answer and to get the collaboration or the solutions available for your needs.
Okay, thank you. So, Vaisali, we'll have to give back to you. And thank you so much. Thanking everyone. And so, I'm not only to talk with you, also learn from you a lot. This is very fruitful for me. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you.
Ms. Vaisali, anything else?
Thank you.
ขอบคุณครับ
No, sir. Thank you very much to our esteemed panel for this wonderful session. And a very special thanks to Super, sir, for superbly managing the session. And the show is not over yet. We are taking a short networking break and we'll be back with another exciting session in just 10 minutes. Till then, explore our networking lounge, network with your peers, and join our sponsor on the networking tables. Thank you.
Thank you. My colleague will join in second part. Okay. Thank you so much.